Last month, one night, about 11:30 at night, I got a call from my mom. She was having a minor medical emergency, enough that she needed to go to an emergency room, but it wasn't life-threatening or anything like that. My mom is 94 years old. She doesn't drive anymore, so I went and picked her up, drove her to a Baptist hospital emergency room not far from where she lives. So the staff treated her. We met the doctor. It was interesting when the doctor spoke with me, he was asking me a few things about the Spurs. So I gathered he knew that I do the studio work on Spurs basketball radio broadcasts. So my mom's in there a couple of hours. They treat her. She's better. At the very end, when she's about to be released, the doctor comes in and says to her, "I'd like to present you with this coin. This is a military coin." He said he was presenting it to her because he knew of her family's sacrifices. I was stunned. How did he know that, I had a brother who was killed in a plane crash in the Texas Air National Guard at Ellington Field in 1980. My brother's buried not far from my dad at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery. My dad flew B-17s in World War II. So I had to ask him, I said, "How did you know about my family, about my brother Greg?" And he said, "I'm an F-16 flight surgeon." He said, "I, in fact, was at Ellington Field just last week." 38 years later, this man, and it turns out he is Colonel Craig Manifold. I Googled him, found out so much that he does, not only in the Texas Air National Guard, but for EMS, for emergency rooms here in San Antonio. But here he is presenting this to my mother, and then he handed one to me 38 years after my brother and my mother's son was killed serving in the Texas Air National Guard at Ellington Field near Houston. It was one of the kindest, most moving gestures that I had witnessed. So for my mom and for my family and for me, I just want to thank that man, Colonel Craig Manifold of the 149th Medical Group of the Texas Air National Guard here in San Antonio. You made my mom's night, and you have moved me forever. Thank you, sir. And thank you for listening.